Here we are, folks, at the Farmers Museum in Cooperstown, New York. Let's plan out this way. Looking across the street here, over there is the Cooperstown Golf Course. Here we are coming in. We're not actually into the village quite yet. These are the maintenance buildings and staff and those type of things. And today we're here for the Thanksgiving at the farm. There's the carousel on the right there, and they are doing demonstrations of that. It is going around and around. I'm not sure if you'll be able to go on a ride with it, but we'll see when we get closer. Now, Farmers Museum houses many different historic houses from the area, Cooperstown area, Otsego County. Most of these, obviously all of these buildings were moved here from various locations in this area. The carousel was built for this area. It wasn't a historic site. It is historic. The animals that make up the carousel are historic, and we'll get to that when we get to that video on that. But we're going to head off into the historic village here. First building we're going to see on our right over here is the Todds General Store. Of course, because of this coronavirus, you can't go into any of these buildings. You can poke your head in the windows, and you can look through them, and you can see through the doors. So we're going to go through into the historic village. We're going to take a look up over here into the Todds General Store. Now, Todds General Store was pretty close when it was in its original site. Right in the Cooperstown area, actually. So they moved that here. It's a stone structure. Todds General Store was built in Toddsville, New York about 1820. See if we can peek in here. 1820, and served the community as a general store for nearly a century. It was moved to its present site right here at the Farmers Museum back in 1944. See, it's kind of scant in there because they got all their products up in the main building now where they're selling from. We're going to take a walk around the building here. We're going to head on over to the right side here. There's the carousel. Here's the general store on this side. Beautiful landscape around here in Cooperstown, New York. Up at the this would be the west side of Otsego Lake. Right over there is Otsego Lake. You can't see it, but it's on the other side of the golf course over there. So across the street from the Todds General Store is Westcott Shop. Westcott Shop was built between 1815 and 1845 in Schuyler Lake, New York, which is 8 miles from here. The back portion of this building is the oldest, constructed about 1815. The larger front addition was added in 1845. John Westcott, a shoemaker, purchased the building in 1850, possibly from another shoemaker. Today, the Westcott Shop is home to broommaking and fancy weaving. Typically, craftsmen producing these goods were also farmers. So back in those days, they didn't go to a store and buy their brooms. They made them themselves. Very self-sufficient in those days. We are very reliant on people making stuff for us in today's world that we don't have the ability to do much anymore because we take no responsibility on ourselves to build things. So we're going to go around to the back section of the Westcott Shop. Right here, this portion here is the oldest part, built in 1815. See in the back here, they have a loom. Huge loom, actually. They built these to last. As you can see in there, there's pegs and holes. They didn't use nails, they didn't use glue. They built everything with pegs and holes, just like they built log cabins with pegs and slots and holes and things that held them together for years. And there's some dyed yarn on the wall over there. So again, they built their things to last. They made their own brooms, they made their own clothing, they made their own shoes. Back in the early part of our country, people were more self-sufficient than they are now. Now, one thing that every community has, of course, is a schoolhouse. This schoolhouse was in Morris, New York, which is in Otsego County. I'm going to back up here and get some good overview shots of this. It's a beautiful stone fireplace inside, but it's a beautiful stone building. Built in Morris circa 1829. So this building is almost 200 years old. Filer's Courthouse Filer's Schoolhouse, originally served children in Butternuts and later Morris. It was built for Thomas Elva Filer, a teacher who moved from the Rochester area to the Butternut Valley in order to open a select school. Be similar to a private school in today's world. In Filer's day, attached dorm rooms for boarding students gave the building a much different appearance. The schoolhouse provides a glimpse into the 19th century education in New York State. And there is one of the main features right there, the fireplace kept that school warm. Teacher had to come in every day early and get the fire going. That's what this stuff here is for. Chalk up the stove, keep it warm. We're going to peek in the window here. Now these windows are the original windows. You can tell because they're bubbly looking. They're all... Old windows have a little bit of a bubble to them, a little bit of a wave to them. Because when they made these out of sand, they weren't done precisely like they are today. When they heated that sand up, it was kind of warped in spots. So that's what it looks like in the schoolhouse. Now we go off the porch here onto the side of the schoolhouse down here. Look at the back of the schoolhouse here. Remember, 1829 this thing was built. Almost 200 years ago. This building, its structure has lasted that long. And it's a beautiful old schoolhouse. You don't see too many stone schoolhouses in the area here. Most of them are made of wood, but this one's a stone one. So we're going to zip back around here, and we're going to end the first part of the tour of the Farmers Museum here. We just started. We just scratched the surface. We're going to have a lot more to see at the Farmers Museum, Cooperstown, New York.